Hey guys, what is up? My name is Landon and welcome to the Jersey Zone. So today I'm doing a little bit of a follow-up video here. A couple of months ago, I think it was a couple months ago, feels like a couple months at least, a little while ago, I did a video talking about my favorite main logos from each NHL team. So today I'm doing the secondary version of that. I'll be looking at my favorite shoulder patches for each individual team. Now, one thing that actually kind of surprised me while making this video is the fact that not every single team has worn a shoulder patch before. Obviously, some teams have worn like Stadium Series patches and stuff like that, but some teams have never had a secondary logo on their shoulders before, like at all, ever in their history, which was really shocking to me. Like, looking back on it, it makes sense. I totally realized that, yeah, that team has never worn a shoulder patch. But if you asked me before this video, has every single team worn a shoulder patch at some point in their history, I would have said yes, like without question. I wouldn't even have thought about it at all. So it is definitely something that's interesting. But anyways, all that being aside, let's actually get into the video. Okay, so starting us off, we have the Anaheim Ducks. They were these ones from 1995 all the way up until 2006. And I just kind of like these. It is like a different version of the Mighty Duck logo, which I do obviously really like that logo a lot. And I also like the fact that it says Mighty Ducks of Anaheim instead of just Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I know that they went by that back in the day as well, so I kind of like that. It's just something weird and unique and just kind of a lot of fun, so I like that a lot. Anyways, moving on. Now we have the Arizona Coyotes, or the Phoenix Coyotes, I should say, because they were this when they were the Phoenix Coyotes from 1998 all the way up until 2003 is when they wore the shoulder patch. But of course, they did also bring it back for the reverse retro this year. So it is kind of part of both the Arizona and the Phoenix part of the franchise. Anyways, I love the gecko or the salamander, whatever you want to call it. I just think he's really great. I mean, to be fair, I like a lot of Arizona shoulder patches anyways. So like even like the half moon, I kind of like a lot. So it really doesn't matter to me. I do like a lot of their shoulder patches, but I still do really like the gecko a lot. And he definitely is my favorite. Now moving on to the Boston Bruins, and you know I had to pick the Meth Bear. They wore the Meth Bear from 76 all the way up until 95, which is quite a long time. And then they also brought it back for the reverse retro, which I was so happy about. I absolutely love the Meth Bear. He's just so funny looking, so strange, so weird. I was very close to picking the Pooh Bear because they did wear the Pooh Bear on the shoulders for a little bit there. But I decided to go with the Meth Bear because the Pooh Bear, at least I think of it as a main logo. I don't really think of it as a shoulder patch. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. Now moving on to the Buffalo Sabres, and I actually had a hard time with the Buffalo Sabres kind of deciding which one was my favorite because they have had the goat head as a secondary logo on a shoulder patch, at least I should say. But I did use that as my favorite main logo in my previous video, so I don't want to use that again. And then they have had like the bee with the sword going through it, which I think is okay. But anyways, I decided to go with something different. I used their 2018 Winter Classic shoulder patch. I don't absolutely love it, but I do kind of like it a little bit more than like the bee with the sword going through. I don't know, it's something different. I really don't have any strong feelings towards or against the shoulder patch, so if you disagree with me, I kind of do too, so it's alright, I guess. But anyways, moving on to the Flames. In the Flames, I would have used Blasty, but once again, I used Blasty in my main logo kind of video there. So I'm going with their 2013 to 2016 shoulder patch, the one that they used on their third jersey at the time, and I absolutely love this shoulder patch. I talked about it a little bit in my jersey collection video when I was talking about my Flames portion of the collection. I think this shoulder patch is just phenomenal. I really do like it a lot, and I'm very shocked that they haven't brought it back in some sort of way at some point, somehow. I really don't know why they haven't. I think it just represents the city well, and it has a lot of kind of neat little things in it. Anyways, let's move on. Next up is Carolina, and with Carolina, I kind of cheated a little bit. I went with Pucky on their 2020 reverse retro. I didn't really want to choose Pucky, but to be honest, Carolina hasn't really used that many shoulder patches. They basically just used their main logo and their two flag logos, and that's basically about it. They have also used their state flag on the shoulders for like their current third jersey. I really don't like when teams do that though, so I definitely wasn't going to choose that. So I copped out and I went with Pucky because I absolutely love Pucky. How can you not? He is just fantastic, so that's why I went with him. So on to Chicago here. Chicago has basically used the same secondary logo for an extremely long time, so I just went with the newest version of that. They've used this since basically 2000, and I mean, I really do like the secondary logo anyways, so I don't really see a big deal in changing it, but they have used it for a while, so it would be nice to see something new, but I still do like this logo a lot. Now moving on to Colorado, I do have to go with the Bigfoot logo because that logo is just great. It is absolutely phenomenal. Although that being said, I do still like their current secondary logo or shoulder patch logo, but I just love the Bigfoot logo so much, so that's why I went with that. Now moving on to basically the reason why I did this video, Stinger. I love this guy. He's on my hat too, which is great. I like it so much. But I just absolutely love Stinger, and I'm sure you guys can tell, but this jersey is absolutely massive on me. This is an extra large, and I wear a small, so this jersey is really big. That's why the shoulder patches are so far down and not actually at my shoulders. Just if you guys were wondering and thinking that the jersey looked a little big on me, it is. It's very, very big. But anyways, I absolutely love Stinger so much. I think he's just absolutely fantastic. I'm really, really sad that he hasn't been brought back at some point because I just think he's so great. He's just amazing. Okay, so moving on to Dallas, and Dallas really hasn't used that many shoulder patches. And honestly, the ones that they have used, I kind of find a little bit boring, but I'm going to go with their original one, the one with the state outline. I think that one is a fairly nice secondary logo, but overall, I do wish they had like something a little bit nicer. They really haven't used anything like super awesome as their secondary logo, but yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. Once again, kind of like the Buffalo one, I don't have any strong feelings towards or against the logo. I think it's just okay. Now moving on to Detroit, and if you guys are kind of like thinking, okay, what secondary logo has Detroit used? They haven't worn any. They've not had a shoulder patch logo except for their 2009 Winter Classic and their 2016 Stadium Series jersey, and on those jerseys, it was just the regular Red Wings logo, so I guess I'm going to go with that one. Now that being said, I do want to touch on something here. In my original video when I was talking about my favorite main logos, for some reason when I was talking about Detroit, I said just their regular main logo right now is my favorite Detroit logo. That's not true at all. I don't know why I said that. For me, it's either their 2014 Winter Classic logo or their 2017 Centennial Classic logo. It's kind of between those ones, so I really don't know why I said just the regular home logo or regular just main logo right now was my favorite in that previous video. I think it's weird, but I wanted to touch on that right now because I really don't know why I said that. Now moving on to Edmonton, we have their 1996 until 2000 shoulder patch. It's basically just an oil worker kind of pulling the stick there. I think it's a kind of cool looking logo. I like it a decent amount. Edmonton hasn't had any like crazy shoulder patch logos or anything like that, but I do like this one. I think it's fine. I think it's nice. Okay, on to the Florida Panthers, and they use basically a version of this one. They kind of changed the colors a little bit throughout the years, but they wore it basically from 1993 all the way up until 2016, and I just really like their shoulder patch a lot. I think it's like super classic. It just represents Florida really well, and just like the team in general. I just think it works really nicely with the Florida Panthers, and it is a little upsetting that they kind of did retire it, but at the same time, they used it for so long. I kind of understand it. Either way, I like this shoulder patch a lot, and I think it's fantastic. Okay, so moving on to the LA Kings. Now, with the Kings, basically every single shoulder patch that they've had was either previously a main crest on a jersey or was then moved on to the main crest of a jersey. So a lot of the times, the shoulder patches that I was kind of looking at, I just think of them as main logos. But the one I'm going to go with is their 1999 until 2013 kind of shield-looking logo. I do like this logo a lot. I mean, to be honest, I like pretty much every single like LA Kings jersey around that time, around like the mid 90s, early 2000s. I love those jerseys so much. I think they are all fantastic. I really like had a hard time choosing. I kind of just chose this one because I do think it looks nice. Anyways, on to Minnesota. So with the Wild, I'm going with their original shoulder patch. They wore this from their inaugural season in 2000 all the way up until 2010, and I just like it a lot. I just really like the font on it. I think it looks really nice. It feels like, you know, wilderness kind of type of font. Now moving on to the Montreal Canadiens, and like the Detroit Red Wings, they've literally never had anything on their shoulders before. They've never had a secondary logo on their shoulders before, so I'm going something that's kind of close to the shoulders, I guess. I'm going with an elbow patch, which was their 2016 Winter Classic jersey. They basically just had the world patch on their elbows there. Why not? It's kind of close to the shoulders, I guess. Either way, I do still kind of like the logo. I do still think it looks nice, but yeah, I don't know. It was like the only thing that was kind of close. I could have went with like a Stadium Series patch or something like that, but I didn't really want to, so that's why I went with this one. Now moving on to the Nashville Predators, I'm using their 2009 to 2011 checkerboard shoulder patch. I just really like this logo a lot. I do like the tiger skull or predator skull, whatever kind of skull it is. They did use it a little bit in the past before this jersey came out, and I do like that version of the patch as well. But I like this pattern just a little bit more because it has a checkerboard pattern in the back, so I kind of like that just a little bit better. But anyways, I do still like the original version of this patch still. I do think it looks nice. But yeah, anyways, moving on. Now with the New Jersey Devils, this is another team that has never worn a shoulder patch, which the Devils I think I am most surprised at. If you asked me like with Detroit or Montreal beforehand, I probably would have like maybe guessed it right. Maybe. I don't really actually know, but I think in my head, hopefully I would have guessed that right. But with the New Jersey Devils, I think I definitely would assume that they had a shoulder patch at some point. I don't know why. I don't know what I think it would have been, but it just kind of feels like the New Jersey Devils would have had it. At least to me, I don't really put them in like the same category as the Montreal Canadiens or the Detroit Red Wings, so that's why I just feel like they would have had a shoulder patch at some point, but apparently they haven't, so I'm just going to go with something that they put on the shoulder patches at one point, the 2014 Stadium Series patch. Why not? They had it on the shoulders at some point. I don't know, man. I'm trying my best. I don't know. Okay, so now moving on to the New York Islanders. And of course, I had to go with the lighthouse. They wore this from 95 until 98. And I mean, I absolutely love this logo. I love the jersey that it actually goes on as well, but I actually do legitimately like this logo a lot. And I do think it is a logo that the Islanders could go back to at some point. I do understand why they haven't gone back to the fisherman jersey at any point in their time, but I do think if they use like the lighthouse patch at one point, I don't think people would be overly upset about it, or at least I wouldn't, but I also wouldn't be upset if they went back to the fisherman, so what do I know? Now moving on to the New York Rangers, and I'm going with the one that they used on their Lady Liberty jerseys, the New York Rangers kind of shield logo, and I actually really like this logo a lot. I mean, I also do like the older kind of shield logo as well, the one that they used, I think it was in the late 70s, I believe, for just like a couple of seasons there as the main logo that a lot of Rangers fans didn't like. I do actually really like that logo a lot, and I like this one as well because it's a little bit more modernized, I guess. But yeah, I really do like the shield kind of crests for the New York Rangers. I do think they look nice, but anyways, let's move on. So now we're on the Ottawa Senators, and I decided to go with their 2011 to 2017 shoulder patches. They used this on their third jersey and also their Heritage Classic jersey as well. And the reason I kind of like this logo a lot is because of the fact that they also used a French version of it as well. I just think that's kind of neat. It's something different for sure. Honestly, I was looking at the other Sens shoulder patches as well, and I all thought they were like just okay. And I do kind of think these ones are okay as well, but I like the fact that on one side it is the English version, and then the other side it is the French version. I just think that's kind of neat. Anyways, let's go on to Philadelphia. Now moving on to Philadelphia, and once again, they have never worn a shoulder patch in their history, so I guess I'm going to go with their 2019 Stadium Series patch. Although I do actually really like this patch a lot. I like how on one side it has the Pittsburgh colors and then the other side it's the Philadelphia colors. I do think that's kind of neat. I like the Liberty Bell in like the D of the stadium. But yeah, I don't know. I looked for a patch and I was like, sure, man. I guess that one will do. Now moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins, I'm going with the RoboPen. They use this as a secondary patch or a shoulder patch from 2000 to 2007. And the reason I chose it now is because I didn't choose it in the other video, the one that I was talking about the main logos. I didn't choose it in that video, so I'll choose it now. They did wear it as their shoulder patch as well, so why not? They haven't really used a ton of shoulder patches either, once again. So now moving on to the San Jose Sharks, I'm picking their 2017 to present shoulder patch, and I absolutely love this logo a lot. And there's something that I'm not sure if I'm just dumb and I didn't see it before, but now it's just like completely obvious to me that I can't believe I missed this. So maybe it's just like something that you just don't really realize until you actually see it. But at the bottom of the shark there, it actually has a little S, which, like I said, I didn't realize before, but now that I see it, it's like completely obvious to me, and I can't believe I missed it. But I just really like this shoulder patch a lot. I think it's super neat. It's a lot of fun. I was debating between this one and like just like the shark fin coming out of the water. I was debating between those two, but I decided to go with this one. Now let's move on to Seattle. Now I decided I'm going to include Seattle here because why not? They are becoming a team next season, so I might as well include them. I'm obviously going to be choosing the only secondary logo that they've had so far. It's like the needle anchor kind of shoulder patch there. I do actually really like this shoulder patch a lot. I think it's neat. I like the anchor, and I like the Seattle kind of needle in the middle as well. It's a very nice looking logo for sure. But anyways, let's go on to the Blues. So with St. Louis, I decided to go with the trumpet logo because, I don't know, I just think it's a lot of fun. I don't really like a ton of their other shoulder patch logos, so I decided to go with this one. It just has a lot of colors, and it's just a lot of fun, like I said before. Anyways, that's why I went with this one. Okay, so on to Tampa Bay. I decided to go with their 1992 all the way up until 2007 shoulder patch. Now, I'll be honest, I actually kind of had a hard time deciding with this one because with this logo here, it's very similar to like their main crest that they were using at this time. And then now that they've switched to a different crest, the new secondary logo, I actually am not really a huge fan of. I just think it's kind of a little bit too corporate-y kind of in a way, so I really don't like their new secondary logo. So I decided to go with this one, even though I still don't really overly like it because it's just too similar to like the big crest or the main crest on that jersey as well. But I do still like the logo itself, just individually, just on the jersey itself. I think it's just fine. So onto the Maple Leafs here. I'm going to go with one that actually might surprise some of you guys. I'm going with their TML logo, so the one that they used from 2000 until 2007. And I think the reason that I actually like this logo so much is because it was on the jerseys as I was kind of becoming a fan of the team. So I think that's probably why I like this logo so much. And I also do find it funny that some people kind of say that it looks like FML, which it kind of does, and it works well with being a Leafs fan. So I kind of like it. I kind of like it even as people like making fun of it, saying that it looks like FML, and I kind of just like it regularly just with the TML. I just like it overall. Now onto the Vancouver Canucks, and I decided to go with one that was a little bit different. I'm going with their 2008 until 2017 secondary logo that they had on their third jersey, Johnny Canuck. I really like Johnny Canuck, although I do actually prefer the full version of him and not just like this one right here where it is just his head and the V at the bottom. So I am very glad that Abbotsford is actually going to like the full Johnny Canuck logo and using that as their main logo. I'm really excited about that because I do really want like the fashion jersey of the Vancouver Canucks where they had the Johnny Canuck as a main logo. Ever since I got into collecting, I've always really wanted that jersey and I've just literally never seen it anywhere. So I'm glad that I'll actually be able to buy that jersey now, or at least a version of that jersey. I'm really excited about that. So that's kind of just why I went with this one. I like Johnny Canuck. Why not? Now on to Vegas. Now, of course, I'm obviously just choosing the regular shoulder patch because they haven't had any other shoulder patch other than the main logo on the reverse retro being that shoulder patch there. So I'm going with just the regular secondary logo there. And I do actually legitimately like this logo a lot though. I do think it looks nice. I do think it looks nice on the front of a jersey as well. Now moving on to the Washington Capitals, I'm going with their current secondary logo, the one that they've used since 2007. I just really like this logo a lot. I also like the fact that it has like the top of the Capitol building at the bottom of the eagle there. I think that looks nice as well. And I was kind of thinking about using the Capitol building as my favorite secondary logo, but I think of it so much as the main logo on a jersey, so I don't really think of it as a secondary logo, so that's why I went with this one. And then last up with the Winnipeg Jets, I'm just going with the regular secondary logo because it's the only one that they've had since 2011. I think it's a fine looking secondary logo. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It's one of the ones where I don't have any strong feelings towards or against it. It's just okay. But anyways, that does wrap it up for this video here. Sorry, it's a little bit of a long one, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at the Jersey Zone YT on Instagram and at the Jersey Zone on Twitter. Links are in the description down below. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.